I did not want this to be a book for rich people to use their money to get richer. I want it to be a book for people who are broke as hell, like I was in school, and how you can, again, become a capitalist, become very rich, multi-millionaire with no capital to start.
Hey guys, we have Nathan Latka on the show. He's the host of the Top Entrepreneurs podcast with over 10 million downloads. Currently, he's also the founder of Latka, an online database of B2B SaaS companies. So Nathan has created more than 30 sources of passive income revenues from real estate, food trucks, software companies, Chrome plugins, and also a TV show. So recently, Nathan released a book, How to Be a Capitalist Without Any Capital. And this book has greatly impacted me. I bought 2 copies. I got the Audible version. I got the Kindle version. So just a backstory on how you impacted my life. I just started as a freelance remote digital marketer about 8 months ago. And about 1 month ago, I was struggling. I was doing a lot of work. So the amount of work correlates to the income. So I was not sure where to go in the future. So when I got your book, this immediately showed me how I can go on my future. Since I've got your book, I've been calling hotels, asking for media rates. I've been trying to build my email list. I've been trying to ask for equity in companies. So thanks so much, Nathan.
Bob, you are so welcome. I'm glad you got the copies. I'm glad you're reading it. And I know you're busy, so you're not a huge reader. I'm glad you jumped in and you read it. And you read it cover to cover, right? You finished the whole thing?
Yes, cover to cover. And now I'm devouring the Kindle version.
I love it. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yes. So this book, right, How to Be a Capitalist Without Any Capital, is teaches you how to make money, keep money, and grow money, and live like the new rich. So Nathan, can you tell us, how do you define the new rich?
I define a new rich as people who are really lazy, but also like money. Like I am very lazy. So I always find the quickest way to do things to make money so I can go back to being lazy and have a blank calendar. And so the new rich have really figured this out, and they're using things like email scripts, buying and selling companies, Airbnb, Turo, tons of things I list in the book. They're not following the conventional path. They're getting stuff free using very small Instagram followings. So that's what the book's all about.
Great stuff. So I've got a lot of value from this book. So there are a lot of people out there who are college graduates, people working a job. So why do people need this book?
Well, look, quite frankly, I don't think everybody needs it. I mean, what I will tell you is it hit the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. So people are wanting it, and they're wanting it a lot. We sold out the first print run. So my publishers are going, Nathan, how'd you sell so many books? We need to go print, 20,000 more copies, which is great. But look, it's doing extremely well. I would say what I did is I wanted to give away most of the book for free at capitalistbook.com. So anyone can go to that link, capitalistbook.com, and see a bunch of free previews. But ultimately, what I wanted to do was just put screenshots, bank statements, tax returns. My tax return from 2013 is on page 6. That's when I was 23 years old. I just dropped out of school. You see on page 34, Bob, the email script that I used to get my first $700 customer when I was 19 in my dorm room. So students can copy this. They can then graduate with their own 5-10 grand a month side hustle and then build an empire on top of that.
Great. That's I really got so much value from this book. So can you briefly tell my audience, you started the book with the 5 rules to break, So what are the 5 rules to break?
Yeah, so there are 4 rules that you want to go in and break. Maybe you came up with a 5th that I don't know about and I need to add it to the book. But that's great. But there's 4 rules. And I have to give some premise here. The reason most people are broke is because they are following these rules. And so you say, well, why do these rules exist? Well, the reason is because people that are already really wealthy and powerful, Bob, they don't want other people to take their wealth or power. So they make the ladder of success harder to climb. And it's unfair because that's the same ladder they climbed to get their wealth and power. So what do? They lie to the masses. They sell them on these rules to keep them broke. And those rules are, they'll say things like, don't copy people, be unique, or, set goals, right? Or they'll say things like focus on one thing, right? These are all wrong. In the book, I break down why you should copy your competitors, never be unique. I break down why you should focus on systems, totally ignore goals. They're very dangerous. I talk about why you should always be doing multiple things, never focus on one thing. And I also talk about why it's very dangerous to follow the hot topic, and rather you should be selling pickaxes to gold miners instead of, again, trying to sell the hot topic. So these are the 4 rules you have to break to get rich.
Great. So one of the rules I want to discuss with you is like the rule to break the focus on one thing. So I have an opinion on this because I know someone who tried a lot of things but did not succeed in any one of them, but it's like doing 10 things at a time. But so this rule that focus on one thing works, but I think it should be tweaked to get one business going successful, like how you started Heyo. It was successful first and then you build on top of it. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, but I had 5 things going when I launched Heyo. See, that's the thing. You don't know. People are ignorant. If you tell me you know what's going to be successful when you start, I'm going to say you're full of shit. You don't know how to run an experiment. Because listen, the people that get the wealthiest are the ones that launch a bunch of things. Let's say 5 things tomorrow. They then carefully watch which one starts to get momentum. And then maybe like this one gets momentum. They do more of that each week and this one dies. They kill that one. Now they're down to 4, right? Then once you get back down to like 3 or 2, you launch 5 new things, right? And this is the hot thing from the first set of 5. So you keep building that, but you've launched 5 new things. It's like each month you want to be adding like a new 5 kind of things to test. And then you're going to pare it down to 1 by the end of 30 days. And that's how you end up building a new revenue stream every single month. This is why I have over 30 revenue streams today.
Great. So I love that. And one of the rules is sell pickaxes to gold miners. I love that idea. Can you elaborate more to my audience?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of people today are not that smart. What I mean by that is they'll hear about like something hot, like Bitcoin or cannabis, and they'll go put money in cannabis or Bitcoin. The problem is if you put money in things that are a hot thing, it's already extremely competitive. There's no margin for you and I, Bob, to make money. So what's smarter is to sell pickaxes to the gold miners. So sell a cannabis accounting tool or sell a Bitcoin listing service. Don't actually do the hot thing. The example I like to use on this is Mr. Levi back in the 1800s. He's going west because of the gold rush, jumps in the mines and he's like digging, right? He's sweating, he's bleeding. He hates being down in the gold mine trying to find a gold nugget, right? A lucky gold nugget to get rich. And he says, you know what? There's a smarter way to do this. Everyone's wearing jeans. I'm going to go launch a jean brand and sell everybody jeans every day instead of waiting to try and get lucky in the gold mine. And that's what he did. And today, Levi's is a multi-billion-dollar jeans brand. So you want to sell pickaxes to gold miners. Do not follow the hot topic.
Yeah, I love that idea. Like the recent Bitcoin blockchain rush has died down, but a lot of people have made money out of it, making pickaxes. So one of the topics of the chapters in the book, you talk about how to create passive income with real estate. You said get a real estate. If it's the rental is 1% of the value, get a property management company to run it, and then can get a passive income. And in the end, you own the equity of the real estate. So that I totally love that idea. So, but I have a question to ask you. What do you think of people buying real estate for where they live? How does that fit in?
What do you mean real estate for what?
So in your book, you talk about buying real estate and renting it out to get a passive income. But what if you bought it for where you live? What if you bought it and lived in it yourself?
Well, listen, I did that on a bunch of mine. It's called an FHA loan. In order to get an FHA loan, you have to actually live in the place for at least 6 months. An FHA loan means you can go down as low as putting only 3% up to buy the place. So if it's a $100,000 place, you only have to put up $3,000 in cash. So let's say it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You live there for 6 months. You have your mortgage payment. Once you then leave, you still only put 3% cash up front. You only put up $3,000, but you can start renting it out for more than what your mortgage payment is. And look, this is like hard stuff to do, but I put all this stuff in the book, right? I mean, I have my rent roll here. The first property I bought in college, this is page 123. So people can go read exactly how to do that. But Bob, I recommend that when you buy a place, you live there for 6 months and then move out, right? That means you get FHA loans. Now, if you're actually living there with like your family of like, 2 kids and then, you and your spouse, it's 4 people. I don't recommend renting out obviously where you live. Then you have to like travel every week. However, if you have an extra bedroom or 2 bedrooms, you can put that up on Airbnb and obviously make money that way. Even if you're not in a hot topic or hot location. In the book, I break down how to make money really no matter where you are if you want to use Airbnb. There's some tactics you can use there.
Great. So I would definitely try it out and hopefully one day own a real estate. So also, I'm actually based here in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. So in your book somewhere you talk about going for a 45-day holiday in Asia without paying for it. So can you tell us more about your adventures in Asia?
Yeah, so I went to Bali and Bangkok, obviously Thailand a little bit. And I wanted to do this trip, but I said, you know what, I'm going to see if I can get this stuff for free. So what I did is I sent this email, which I'll show you right now. I sent this email to a bunch of hotels that I wanted to travel to. It's on page 106 in the book, right? Right there's the email script. So I sent this email out to people and basically said, look, I have 4,000, 5,000 people on my Instagram following me. Will you give me 2 or 3 nights at your hotel for free? Because paying for that would have been like $500 a night. Well, these people said yes. And you can see all I did is I just took pictures like this and at the hotels and put them on my Instagram, right? This is on page, again, 109, 108. So I ended up getting almost $45,000 of free hotel stays, airfare, and all that stuff using my very small Instagram following. So really anybody can do this. It's just about knowing how to ask for free stuff.
Great. I actually tried it today. So I actually called a hotel in Bangkok because I'm going to Bangkok and tried the media rate and said I have a lot of LinkedIn followers instead of Instagram. So I'll let you know if it works out. I'm supposed to email a salesperson. So good. I'm going to let you know if it works out.
Yeah, that's what happens, by the way. You call the hotel, you say, what's the media rate? They always will say, let me connect you to our sales team, because the sales team is who handles the media rate. And then you negotiate with the sales team to figure out like how many nights you can get for free.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll let you know if it's a success, and hopefully I get like a media rate in Bangkok. So that'll be great.
Good.
So another way that to build passive income is to buy companies and sort of generate passive income. So you have an amazing story of buying the top inbox. So you even got paid $15,000 to buy the company. So Calvin, I know you've said it in many other interviews, but can you tell the audience that story again?
Well, by the way, it's a remarkable story. I mean, a lot of people think you have to have a lot of money to buy companies. And the fact is you can actually buy companies with zero money. In fact, I got paid $15,000 to take over these companies. This is usually the first email I send out. It's on page 153. I just say potentially acquiring the company. And this is the email script I use. So anyone else can use the same email script. What happened with this one is they had about 30,000 active users on the tool on the Google Chrome store, which is about 30,000 email addresses. So I knew if I bought the company, I'd get a big list with it. So ultimately ended up buying that tool. I spent $1,000 on that one. But in the other one that I bought, which is called the Top Inbox, you can see that story here, right? The Top Inbox on page 162. This one, I ended up getting paid $15,000 to take over. So, and then I put up a paywall, and now I've made over 130 grand from this particular tool. And I even put my Stripe screenshot in the book so you guys can see it, right? This on page 178. There's the Stripe account for the tool, and you can see all the sales, right? $130,000 worth. So this is essentially an infinite return. And so the reason I put these examples in the book is because I want people to understand if you know what and how to reach out to people and where to find them, you can do this too. And so, by the way, not everyone can. Once everyone starts doing it, and there'll be no money to be made left, which is why, Bob, the first people who buy the book have the biggest advantage. I'm serious, because once everyone does it, it just won't work.
Yeah. I think I'm one of the first people to get it in Asia. So I still have some sort of leverage. So
you have a lead.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I really love your book is you always tell people if you have zero money, this is how you do it. You have zero money, this is how you get a real estate. This is zero money, this is how you buy a company. So that's what I totally love about your book. So
yeah, I did not want this to be a book for rich people to use their money to get richer. I want it to be a book for people who are broke as hell, like I was in school, and how you can, again, become a capitalist, become very rich, multi-millionaire with no capital to start. I've done it. You can do it. But again, it does expire, right? So even if you don't buy the book, go to capitalistbook.com, look at all the free screenshots and previews and scripts there. And look, I back all this up, Bob. You know this. I back it all up with income statements in the book. Page 6 is my tax return. Page 243 is a $6.5 million acquisition offer I walked away from. So I back it all up with data and facts.
Great. I think I lost you for a bit, but it's good. It's good. So, so a lot of your success, comes from building a personal, having some sort of brand, So do you think that someone who wants to be a capitalist would actually work on their personal brand?
Well, look, I think everybody is a brand today. If you're not branding yourself, somebody else is, and that's a very dangerous spot to be in. So everyone should be building their own brand today. That would be my answer to that. I don't think it's required to be a capitalist, but I do think it's smart, no matter who you are, to be building your own brand.
Great. So I'm going to ask you a more executional, personal question. So I'm a marketer. I built my business on the back of LinkedIn. So I create videos on LinkedIn. So that's where I get a lot of eyeballs. So right now I've managed to get clients from the States and Hong Kong and everywhere in the world. So I've managed to build like a following and managed to start a consultancy business on this. So in your book, you tell people how to monetize their email list and a lot of strategies. But for me, as a digital nomad marketer, what advice would you give to grow my passive income?
Well, what are you at today? I'm on your LinkedIn page right now, so I'm going to go to one of your posts. I mean, how many views are you getting per video when you post it?
Average about 2,000 views.
Okay, yeah, I see this one you posted with Jody Collins at Read Digital. 34 likes, 9 comments, 721 views. That was 1 week ago.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling down. Here's another one. Here's another one with Next Academy with Audrey, where you got 1,300 views.
Yeah, about 1,000. Sometimes can be more.
Yeah. So look, what I would be doing is, sorry, your question was, how do you make money off LinkedIn?
No, or what advice would you give to me? Like
about what?
Like about building passive income, or like building a system or building a passive income from what I do now. I do digital marketing consultancy. So a lot of my work comes as a consultant. I've not built a passive income yet, but what are the ways you see that I can build a passive income?
Well, first off, every passive income stream starts off with like consulting work, because you'll consult amongst a lot of clients. You'll see they all have the same problem. And then you'll figure out how to like build a piece of code or technology around that problem that doesn't require your time. And that's how I started Heyo, right? I sold $70,000 worth of agency work, professional services, before I figured out how to automate it, right? And sell it as a piece of software. That's how that became passive income. So what I would tell you is you're doing the exact right thing. Do consulting work until you're making about $100,000 or $200,000 per year, right? Save your money, spend less than what you make. And then once you have 5 or 10 grand saved, use that to use a site like toptal.com to find an engineer to build a tool that you would use internally at your agency. Once you like that tool and you use it, then tell your clients about it that you're already working with and start selling them direct access to the tool instead of having to go through you to use it. That's how you build a passive income stream.
Thanks, Nathan. That's amazing. So I'll definitely do that. And one day, when maybe 2 years later, when I manage to do that, I'll let you know.
I give 5%.
So one of the strategies that you teach, and I love, is that you teach people to invest in distribution. You almost try to buy Success Magazine. So why is it important to invest in or buy distribution?
Because there are so many people that think they're like so smart and they're like the best because they have like an amazing product, but nobody freaking knows about it, right? I mean, I meet so many brilliant people that think they're going to be like they're really smart, but they're actually very stupid because they built something and nobody knows about it. So what's way more powerful is actually to buy or own distribution channels, so that no matter what you build, even if it's not the best thing in the world, you have channels to sell it through. You then use those sales to make the product better, and before you know it, you have the best product. So distribution, I think, is way more powerful than any product.
Great. One of my favorite chapters is where you teach people how to buy businesses, how to go to G2 Crowd, how to go to various websites to look for softwares with high users, and it's not updated for a while. I love that. What are the perks of buying a business instead of starting it your own?
Well, look, buying a business saves you a ton of time, right? I mean, some of these companies that I buy, the founders have been working for 4 or 5 years on it. So by buying it, you're saving like 5 years of your life. I mean, this is how you get incredible leverage. You buy companies, don't start them from scratch.
Right. So I think you've said this in a lot of interviews, but how do you find software companies, that are good to buy and your own strategy?
Well, first off, a lot of people might be listening that don't know how to run a software company, or they don't know how to code. So they might be going, should I buy a software company? The answer is yes. On page 220, I break down how you can buy a software company, even if you're not a developer. So the place you look for to actually find companies to buy, you want to go to places like the Google Chrome kind of extension store. There's hundreds of extensions there that you can buy. Just look for one that hasn't been updated in a long time. That means the developer probably doesn't care about it anymore. You can then reach out to them using a tool like eTools or Email Finder or Hunter, right? Get their email, cold email them in the subject line, say potentially buying or potentially acquiring, your tool, and then go from there. You can also look in things like G2 Crowd, right? And Capterra, right? These are lists, hundreds and hundreds and thousands of tools that you could potentially buy.
Amazing. So another thing that I really liked out of the book is you teach people how to monetize their email list. But my question to you is, how did you manage to grow? What strategies did you have to grow an email list?
Well, I already talked about this, right? I didn't grow it. I bought it. I bought a company called Send Later in the Top Inbox, and that came with a huge email list, right? So again, a lot of people spend like $2 per lead on Facebook ads, and they spend $100,000 to get a 50,000 person email list. Well, guess what? I got paid $15,000 and I got a 70,000 person email list with it. So it's way better to, again, buy assets with distribution channels like email lists attached to them than it is to build them from scratch.
Great. I like when you talk about your mindset. So sometimes you say, you view life as a game. You find out about the rules and you find out what the rules are, and you find ways to sort of leverage the rules. So I love that that mindset. So in the beginning of the book, you said you thanked your parents in the beginning of the book. So my last question to you is, how have your parents impacted you?
Look, my household was flipped. My dad was the stay-at-home dad, right? And my mom was the breadwinner, a triple entrepreneur in real estate and pharmaceutical consulting, right? So that was fun for me. I got to see that flip. They always, when I was growing up, they would always make me make decisions. They never tell me yes or no, but they'd encourage me to think of, proactively about either do this or do that. And that ability now to make these decisions and get leverage and basically convince anyone to do anything you want, I think it served me very, very well. And so I thank my parents for learning that. Also, none of this works without hard work and hustle. And I watched them just hustle so hard. So those things, the hustle helped me get lucky essentially. And then my brains is what allowed me to use the luck to make a lot of money.
Nathan, for my audience, since you're so successful, can you, I know it's online, but can you reveal your age to my audience so that they know?
Sure, yeah. I'm 29. I'm 29 today, and I was 19 when I launched my first company.
Great. So I think if you can do it, anyone can do it. And thank you so much, for all the value you bring to the world. Really love your book.
Bob, thank you so much for having me on. Again, I get 5% of everything you create from now on, okay?
Okay, good. So, all right.